The next lovely person we have coming up is Domonique Ramos. She's a psychologist living with bipolar disorder. She's here to offer resources for mental health services. She's a bilingual school psychologist in Queens, and she'll be speaking briefly on the stigma of mental illness in the Black and Latino community and offering resources for those who would like to get counseling. I'm so happy to meet you, ladies and gentlemen. Dominique.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, like my introduction basically said, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was 17 years old. After a very long road of doing some very crazy things. My mother is Cuban, my father is Black, and so there was a lot of difficulty seeking help, maintaining help, and reaching the point where I'm at today. So I think, mental health and mental illness and all of the things that kind of go with it are generally viewed as something shameful, something that, you should just be able to control and, what's wrong with you, fix it, do something about it. Or it's dismissed like, oh, well, that's just them and, it's fine. But the reality is that for so many of us, especially women, especially certain cultures where it's frowned upon to seek help, it becomes a double challenge. So now you're dealing with your mental instability and everything that comes with that, and you're also dealing with the shame of feeling like you can't talk to anybody, you can't let anyone in, you can't get help. So part of why I was so excited to come here today was to be able to say to however many people are here, and hopefully you all share it with someone that you know and they share it, it's so important to get help. It's so important to seek help. It's so important to be able to cry when you feel like you can't. And there shouldn't be any shame in it, even though we know sometimes there is. The beautiful thing about dance and spoken word and art is that it offers a release that you may not be able to get any other way. But the other side of it that I also want to speak to is the importance of therapy. There are many different forms of therapy. So you kind of shop around and you see what works for you. And the same with therapists, because we all have different personalities. Just because someone's in the helping profession doesn't mean that they can help you. So if you go see someone and you're like, I don't like the vibe that I got from them, that's okay.
That's right.
You don't have to sit there because they're a therapist or a doctor, so they must know how to help me. No. You go someplace where you feel comfortable, someplace where you feel safe, and you drop all the shit. You just leave it there, and hopefully along the way you pick up other ways to fill in those gaps and those holes and those spaces and all the dark corners that can be really scary, especially if you're trying to do it alone. So if nothing else, please don't do it alone. Yes. Don't go down the road alone. You don't have to, ever, 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 ever. And if you are ever in a position where you feel like you're gonna hurt yourself or hurt someone else, please call 911. Please. There's no shame in it. It will save a life. It saved my life, at least twice. So that's why I'm here today, to be able to share it with you.
Yes.
I think I heard that you're a school psychologist. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about the shame of being in the helping profession and having a diagnosis? And I just want to make one comment that sometimes when you go to a therapist, you might not feel the vibe the first time, the first 2 times, but give it a few times before you make a decision about turning away. Because sometimes that's more about your anxiety about going than it is about the vibe of the therapist. So,
no, I
can
totally
you talk a
agree.
little bit about the dual being involved?
Absolutely. This is probably the first open forum where I've ever shared that I am actually bipolar. So it's, oh, thanks. Yeah. So it's definitely, because of the stigma, there's a lot of like, well, you know, I don't want to be perceived as incompetent or incapable. But working as a school psychologist, I obviously managed to get my master's degree somehow. So it is challenging, and you know, everyone feels differently about what they're willing to share with people. So, you know, would I walk around wearing a sign that says, "Hey, I'm bipolar, ask me about it"? Probably not. But if it were to come up in conversation, I would feel comfortable sharing it. So, you know, everybody, while mental illness may affect us all and sometimes it looks similar, we are all still individuals, so you have to do what you feel comfortable with. But it's difficult. It is. And you know, there are times that I'm having an off day and I still have to be on because of my job, and you know, that part kind of is what it is. But that's why it's so important to find what works for you, so that you have a way to recharge and again fill in those holes, because life is demanding, you know, and it's only harder when you have to deal with either your own mental illness or taking care of someone else, which, I mean, honestly, it's a toss-up. Like, it's not a competition. They are equally hard. Yes. So, you know, just embrace all parts of you.
Yes.
And get help if you need it. Please, please, please. That's